Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. Rebecca Pogonitz joining us here. She's joining us as the owner and principal interior designer from her company, GOGO Design Group, better known as GOGO from what I hear. And again, Rebecca Pogonitz is here joining us today live to talk about her work. And you got to check it out. Pretty impressive interior design work that I noticed on the website. So congrats to you on really beautiful stuff. Please introduce yourself to our listeners to start.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Jill. It's a pleasure to be here. So my name is Rebecca Pogonitz, yes, of GOGO Design Group. And yes, people do call me GOGO. It's just a lot easier than my last name, saying my last name. And I am an interior designer who specializes in residential interior design that nourishes the souls of those who live in their homes. So it's really our vision to create a safe space where people can feel comfortable in a judgment-free zone, to really figure out what brings them joy and thus improving their overall being. And
Beautiful.
So that's basically
And
my vision. Yeah.
where are you based out of?
I'm based out of Skokie, Illinois, which is a suburb right outside of Chicago, where I raised my kids. And but I work all over. So I have a dream to work overseas. So anyone who has a project for me overseas, please call me.
Beautiful. Well, hold on. How can we find you? Tell us the website and contact information before we continue, please.
Sure. You can find me at gogodesigngroup.com. And my email is rebecca@gogodesigngroup.com. And my cell phone is 847-337-0526.
All right. Well, before we get started to talk more about the work you're doing, which again, I urge everyone to take a look at the website like I've been doing. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? And who inspired you to go down this career path, if you don't mind sharing with us?
Oh, I would love to. So I'm actually originally from the East Coast. Well, spent the first 5 years of my life in Detroit. However, I grew up on the East Coast and I came out to Chicago in 1992. And I consider this is really where I grew up. And I wish she could hear this now because my mom is no longer here, but she's the one who inspired me. She really had the greatest influence on what I'm doing today. And Mom, I hope you hear that. So she really inspired me. She was an art historian and had such a passion and love for art history and aesthetics. And ever since I can remember, she would share that joy and passion with me. So I must have been a toddler in a stroller, and she would take me to art galleries and literally discuss the art, talk about the people in the paintings and the context, the history, and what emotions they're feeling. And you can see that. And she really taught me about composition and color. And so the greatest gift of it all is truly, I aspire to create a painting so that my clients feel like they're living inside a painting, because it's just sort of this completely interactive experience that involves your whole being.
Wow.
And we also went to outdoor museums. I don't know if you've heard of that, but that
No.
exists on the East Coast, like Sturbridge Village in
Okay.
Massachusetts and Colonial Williamsburg in Williamsburg, Virginia, where everything has been created to reflect the lives of the people in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So we would walk into houses and she would just, some houses were grander than others, and she would tell me about the lifestyle of the people. And I was fascinated and just fascinated. In fact, my favorite activity in school was creating those little dioramas. I don't know. I was in school
I
when,
remember dioramas. I
oh
have a
my gosh.
7 and 9-year-old yet. They haven't done them yet, but my niece and nephew did like 5 years ago. They are fantastic.
Oh, it's such a creative outlet, for book reports. And so you
Yep.
create a scene from it. Oh, they still do that? Oh,
Yes,
that's
they do. I'm hoping, I
Mhm.
can't wait till my son gets the project.
It's fun to do. It's one school project that's actually fun to do.
Yeah, it is.
So that's basically it and where my inspiration is. But of course, I'm always seeking out inspiration, whether it's relationship building or, yes, looking at art or traveling whenever I can,
Mhm.
just talking to people. So it's really about the emotional experience in interiors. And that's
Beautiful.
my complete approach.
All right. Well, we're excited to have you here. And as you say, you're here to, what is it, nourish the soul, right? Creating spaces
Thank
that
you.
do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nourish
So
the
the
soul.
services you provide from the new construction, renovation
Mhm,
consulting, interior,
mhm.
exterior color consulting, interior space planning, furniture layout, art consultation, home
I know
decor,
it's a lot.
furnishings. I mean, you do a lot of work. And you want to talk a little bit about GoGo's vision? And by the way, I love the GoGo boot.
Oh,
How did you
thank
come up?
you.
How did you come up with the name of the company before we talk about the vision of it?
Yeah. Well, that's a long story too. Just as I help my clients sort of dig deep inside themselves and discover themselves, I rebranded to GoGo Design Group in 2012, but I was trying to come up with a name, and my last name, of course, is very difficult to pronounce, so that didn't work. And I thought about what brought me joy and energy and feeling powerful. And I remember as a little girl, I didn't have a lot of clothes, but I just coveted. I had this red patent leather raincoat, and whenever I put it on, it was so nice. I would never wear it because it was so nice. But when I put it on, I felt like I was transforming my life. And it was something about that patent leather and feeling powerful, like a superpower. And so, for whatever reason, I thought of a go-go boot because I'm a huge fan of retro fashion, 60s, 70s fashion. And it's just fun, it's just fun and lighthearted. And that's really what I'm trying to bring here in the Chicago design scene is just embrace love and fun and free spiritness. So that was the inspiration. And thus the go-go boot has really become my trademark. And when people see the boot, they know it's me.
I love it. And you're
Thank you.
here now creating personalized interiors. You mentioned bringing color
Mhm,
to bring
mhm,
joy, tranquility to spaces as well, and
mhm,
empowering your clients to healing potential that their home holds. Could you share a little bit
mhm.
more about your vision?
Yeah, I really, I strongly feel that a true measure of a space is not necessarily how it feels, but the emotions it evokes. Or sorry, let me backpedal a little bit. It's not
Sure.
necessarily how it looks, but how it feels and the emotions that it
That it brings
evokes.
you. Hmm.
And of course, you hire an interior designer for their expertise and their talent and artistic abilities. However, for me, the most important thing is I say to my clients, what makes your heart sing? Because if we're designing something that you don't really own and you don't know whether you like it or not, how are you going to benefit from that? So I work with all of the design elements. Color, which I say color first because many of us know that color evokes lots of different emotions for different people and it can affect you. Um, a texture, composition, improving the energy of a room by rearranging the furniture. There's just so many things we
Isn't
can
that
do.
called, is that like feng shui? Is that what you call it?
I'm not a feng shui expert, but
Oh, okay.
it is, I would say, and I don't want to offend any feng shui experts out there, but I say I do utilize energy work in that I encourage energy flow, and it's really getting in touch of what makes you feel. And just because I'm the interior designer, maybe my client, something else makes my client feel different. It's really my job to get inside their head and live their experience in their home while we're creating.
Beautiful. So yeah, so they can
Mhm.
come to you with their vision, their plan, and you'll help execute that. Because some designers
Mhm.
that I know want to do it their way, which some people, put all that trust and
Mhm.
into the designer
Mhm.
themselves, but you will listen to
Mhm.
what your clients want.
Yeah, and you said the huge word, Jill, trust,
Mm.
trust. It's, you know, how do you build that trust? And that's why I'm always creating uh, a space, holding space for my clients where they know they can trust me. I'm transparent, very, very open about how I do billing, my markup, answer any questions. And I do my best to make sure that my clients know I have their back at all times and am their advocate. And that's where the trust comes in. And so it's scary for them too, it's a scary process. And I find a lot of people are, when I first meet them, they're intimidated or they're embarrassed, and there's nothing to be embarrassed about. You should see my place, I have my blurred screen on now. So it's just, I just try to take that away and help ground people so that they can really figure out literally what brings them joy, because the world is pretty nasty out there right now.
Yeah.
It's always been hard, right? We're human beings and there's a lot going on, and who wouldn't want to come home and just take some deep breaths and do whatever they need to do to recharge for the next day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Beautifully said. So you're
Thank you.
here creating serenity, as you say, during the
Mhm.
process as well.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
do you want to talk about some of the specific projects you've done? And I just urge everyone, please, oh my goodness, these kitchens, bathrooms, I mean, wine cellars, they're all beautiful, and you have such great reviews. So is there,
Oh, thank you.
is there a favorite for you? What do you love doing most?
It's interesting. It's hard to say that there's a favorite, but I suppose what really brings me my joy, it is a little bit about me. If I'm not happy, I can't bring my
Mm-hmm.
best to my clients, is when my clients are open to having their envelopes pushed a little bit. And even though they don't know what they want, the process is considering things that they might think is totally crazy. And I I really, that's my favorite experience when I'm working with my clients, when we're collaborating and everyone's feeling empowered, that no matter what they say, no idea is stupid, but we're just creating this amazing synergy. And sometimes it happens on a project, um, and sometimes it doesn't, but it just
Mm-hmm.
depends on the type of project. But that's how I grow and develop. I want each and every experience to feel like it's this empowering, exciting experience. So I didn't really answer your
That's
question, but I
okay.
suppose
It's fine.
I love working with color. Oh, I love working with color. So I suppose when a client says, I want color, and or even, monochromatic color, if a client says, okay, you can do a little bit of color, but even fixing a space with the color, and the client allowing me to experiment a little, that's my favorite kind of project.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
Well, I'm looking at your beautiful work, reading some of the testimonials from your clients. If you don't mind me just sharing one or two. This
Oh, thank
person,
you.
Angie, mentions that we thoroughly benefited from working with Rebecca for the design of our basement layout. It's an older home, bit quirky of a floor plan. And her husband and her were trying to, they're going around in circles talking about what we should do. And you were really great at listening to what they wanted and took a lot of that into consideration for their specific wants and needs, the multi-use purpose of it. We're using some of the existing furniture, making it feel warm and welcoming and being family friendly. She said it was a tall order, but we are super happy with the results, from the accent walls paint, color selection, to several new furniture pieces, new statement piece of art and rugs. All this that we wouldn't have felt confident purchasing without Rebecca's input and guidance. She was super
Mm.
patient with us through the process as we
Aw.
pivoted a few times. What we thought we also wanted once saw possibilities. There's more. If you continue to go, this person saying, Wilma, you listened and really cared about provided resources to help create a space that I love. She is an
Mhm.
innovative, resourceful North Shore interior designer who creates
I
custom design
try.
spaces that fit your personal style and preference and really makes sure everything is truly special. There's more, but yeah, great stuff being said about you. And
Thank you.
we're halfway through the show, a little further, but we got to remind everyone how we can reach out to you. I know we mentioned before, gogodesigngroup.com. Please go to
Correct.
gogodesigngroup.com. And do you have any social media pages you want to share? And phone number for our listeners?
Sure. My phone number is 847-337-0526. I'm on LinkedIn under Rebecca Pogonitz. I'm on Instagram at GOGO Design Group, and Facebook. My social media, I used to be a social media queen, and I'm revving up for that again. I'm rebranding a bit. Um, However, you'll see more of me, but there hasn't been a post in a while. I'm old school.
That's okay. That's fine. Well, we
Mhm.
just want to urge everyone to reach out to you the best way
Mhm.
possible. So
Thank
also you can
you.
just Google
Mhm.
your name and you pop up. There's still a lot more to, did you want to talk
Mhm.
more about what was in your notes? Or did you want to move on to talk about more of the work you're doing?
Um, I just if I can, I just want to talk about how I'm transforming my own business in that I am honing down my why and my vision to gear my business towards emotional well-being, believe it or not. And that's going to be one of my topics moving forward, mental health and creating spaces and how it can be healing. And as I've been honing my purpose over the years, I'm grateful that it's gelling into that we just don't design spaces, we heal spaces, and thus we help heal. Again, I'm not an expert. However, I think in a healing process, when life is so tough and it incorporates a lot of different variables besides exercise and vitamins and everything,
Yeah.
and it's like it's just all encompassing. And I like to think that my work is part of that healing process. And it's even healing in and of itself to go through the process. And so that's really the message I want to get out is that I have a more holistic approach. And yes, I've been featured in magazines and all that, but really what is so important to me at this point in my career and life as I'm getting older is to help people in any way I can. And I feel like God gave me my talents and gifts as a blessing to share with other people. And that's just my MO. And so I suppose today that's what I really want to get across is that um, what I'm saying now is a huge part of my work. And of course,
Hmm.
some people that may seem overwhelming to
Yeah.
hear. But of course, I take pride in the fact that I read people really well. I'm an empath and I adjust my vision as people feel comfortable. And if they want to grow with me during the process, that's awesome too. So it's a little woo woo, but this is what I'm finding
No.
is helping me fuel my work and bring meaning to it. And when you feel purposeful in your work, um, then it's not work anymore. It's sort of personal, it's business, and I'm just gelling the two together, and I'm very, very grateful. So
So
grateful.
cool. So
Mhm.
you could probably then, I guess when you do your, by the way, do you offer an initial consultation for someone who's interested in talking to you?
Yes, from this show, I definitely will. I will
Okay.
offer um, a half-hour free consult on Zoom, and just call me at 847-337-0526 if you want to book that.
Okay.
Locally, I'm able to go to people's house and I do offer a no charge consult because I really feel we have to get to know each other to make sure we're each a good fit. I have to make
Hmm.
sure they're a good fit for me and they have to make sure I'm a good fit for them. Otherwise, we're not going to be productive. And yeah, I
So when
forgot
you
what else you
arrive,
wanted
when you
to
meet that person in person or
say.
over Zoom, I guess you could probably get a good sense of who they are right away. That's that's an added bonus. An empath, an
Mhm.
intuitive working with you. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Like I knew you were gonna pick that. I know that's the style kitchen cabinet you wanted.
Yeah. I
No,
can
but
read
it
your
does
mind.
help. Wow.
Yeah,
And
and also it allows me, I really, as I expand my own world, I really would
mhm.
love to expand my business throughout the country. And, as I said, I just feel like, the world has no boundaries. And I've helped people virtually too. I'm completely open to that. My goodness, I helped someone pick out siding in Florida.
Oh wow.
And she was FaceTiming me. So I was doing a color consultation. So on the phone. So
Amazing.
I'm just about, and it sounds kind of cliche, but I really am saying it from my heart, from a very genuine place that I feel the easiest way to get through this crazy life is to help others.
Yeah.
And that's just what I'm always focusing on.
Now,
So
when
if
did you
I can,
start the business? If you don't mind telling me a little bit how you got into the business and then when did you start your own company?
Well, I started my own company in 2001 under a different name. I graduated from design school in 1998. I was pregnant with my daughter, who's now 25 and
Oh my
married.
goodness.
And my first job was a blessing. I worked with this wonderful woman named Lois Clark, and she took me under her wing. To this day, she's still a mentor. And when I was pregnant with my second child, we decided her career aspirations were shifting, and we decided it was time for me to take flight. And so while I was raising my kids, I was working part-time as an interior designer and just getting lots of experience within my own community. And then I did get divorced in 2012, and I had to reinvent myself on many levels. And that's when I became GOGO, just a completely different entity to fuel the next phases in my life. So I learn and grow every day, and I use this word a lot. I just am so grateful. So,
Well, we have just a few minutes still left in your
mhm.
show. What other aspects of your work did you want to share specifically?
I think that a lot of people, they don't know the difference between an interior designer and an interior decorator. And I just want people to know out there that there's a lot of interior designers out there who have to know a little bit about a lot. And I love the entire process, from being involved at the very beginning of a project with the architect and helping space plan, to helping my clients hire a contractor and making sure that they feel good with the contractor, because while I'm not a contractor and I'm completely dependent upon my collaborative partners, I do have a basic knowledge of the process of a project. And a good interior designer is going to be able to lead you throughout the entire project. So I guess that's what I want to say.
Oh, well, thank you. And I urge
Mhm.
everyone to check out your portfolio. And, there's just so much that you can offer. And wow, beautiful portfolio.
Oh, thank you.
Is yeah, like I feel like, can I just ask you, like that barn, that farmhouse that you did? I was looking at that one before, the Bohemian, then the modern farmhouse. I mean, it seems a lot of people are doing work in the kitchen. Is that like the main hub of the house? Or do you have a
Oh,
lot of kitchen
yeah.
consults? My goodness.
Yeah, and I do not call myself a kitchen designer, but because it is the hub of the home and it
Yeah.
needs to integrate with the rest of the home,
Wow.
um, I love doing that. Yes, and I love, people have different needs for their kitchen. Some are big cooks, some have big families, and that's just so much fun. It's so much fun to work with people and help them incorporate that into their
Ugh,
lifestyle.
and then the
So.
lake house, look, all those beautiful open
That was in
windows.
Minneapolis.
Oh my
Yeah. Yeah.
goodness. I mean, you
That was
can't.
fun. That
Oh,
was so much fun. Every project's fun, but
random. What do you? Okay, all these islands in the kitchen. Just one quick random question. Like I saw some of your beautiful islands with like cabinets on the side, but then there's the ones that are just straight like granite or marble, like on the sides. What do you like better? A full granite top one that encompasses the whole thing, or do you like having
uh-uh.
the shelves and the? I'm just worried about the paint being chipped. Just curious.
Well, I have to say that I'm gonna put myself out there. The waterfall is kind of going out. I'm just gonna say, but it really is about all the variables, budget. I'm kind of skirting the question,
Yeah,
but
it's
it,
okay.
it's really about what the client needs for storage, how
Ah.
big the island can be. Can they afford that material to waterfall down the sides?
That's what you call it,
Um,
waterfalling. Okay, perfect. What do they
yeah.
use for? Is those granite or quartz or what is like the hot
Well, right now, the
top?
hot material, we're coming back to natural stone and quartzite. For a
Mm-hmm.
while, quartz was, which is a man-made composite material that has ground up stone in it. That was all the rage. However, quartzite is a little more expensive. Well, it depends on which
Yeah.
level. However, it is the most durable. It's the hardest. You can put hot things on it. And there's just such a focus on ease of life and taking the stress out of our life, that people just want convenience. And I have to say, quartzite is what's happening now.
All
Tons of
right.
quartzite. I wasn't working with it for years, and now
back.
happening. Mhm.
Well, thank you so much. Pleasure having you here. We want everyone to reach out again, GoGoDesignGroup.com, and you can reach out for your free initial 30-minute consultation. And in the meantime, check out her work in the Illinois area. But wait, no, she's worldwide.
Thank you.
Right? Because you
know anyone in Italy, Jill?
see, you can. Well, you work in Florida, you're working, but we've got overseas here. And again, she can work with you anywhere around the world. So as a owner of her own company, principal interior designer with many years of experience, reach out to Rebecca, and thank you for coming here again today. We appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Have an
Thank
awesome
you.
weekend.
You too. Have a fantastic day, good weekend. Hopefully we get to chat again. Looking forward to it.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.